Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. I'm back with another Hydra video, and basically I guess this we can call it a little bit of a showcase or a guide on one specific champion that I tried, I tested out. Somebody mentioned it to me in chat, and that is Jizoh. Well, apparently Jizzo is actually extremely good for the sake of Hydra. Like, he was so bad, like, overall in the game, at least from my point of view, for my account, for my, endgame account, I guess. He was so bad that I even fed him. I didn't have Jizoh for the last few months, and I randomly got him back because last week the missus pulled me one, and I could actually try and test him out, and honestly, I was pleasantly surprised. And you know what, let's just quickly have a look at his kit. I'm gonna show you a little bit, maybe the beginning of the run, and I'm gonna play you the whole run that I did in the background and show you why he's so good and what he can actually do. So basically Jizoh is, he's a defense-based champion, decent HP, high defense. The HP is not the craziest, pretty slow, I guess, 94, but his kit is actually good. So he's defense-based. On the A1, double hitter, nothing too special. On the A2, places a shield buff for 3 turns, a counterattack buff for 2 turns on one ally, grants an extra turn, and the value of the shield depends, it's proportional to this champion's defense. So it's not a crazy shield. However, look at this. So this one's a 5-turn cooldown, but it grants an extra turn. So basically with this one, you put a shield and a counterattack buff on whoever you want. What does that mean? 2 buffs that you can choose who to place on, that you can make a mischief target. So if you choose to put these 2 on somebody that's, I don't know, maybe has another buff of their own, that person has 3 buffs then, and then they can be a mischief target. And by getting extra turn, goes down to a 4-turn cooldown. But wait, there's more. The thing that actually makes him really good is this one, the A3. Attacks one enemy, has after booked 100% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 2 turns. Also places a continuous heal buff on this champion for 2 turns. So after this one's booked, it goes to 100%, and at the same time it gets down to a 4-turn cooldown. So if you think about it, he puts a continuous heal on himself, he provokes for 2 turns, and he has the chance of putting 2 other buffs. Well, guess what? You can make him a mischief target as well. So he is the epic version of a maybe Coronar, of a Bival. He doesn't provide all those AoEs, but if you're missing a provoker that brings a little bit of something else, you have him. There's other options of people that I was using. Like I was using, for example, Master Butcher, because I had no other better provoker that could consistently keep the provoke up on the head of DK. So by bringing him in, guess what? I have a consistent provoker, and I also have a mischief target, 2 in one epic champion. He's not gonna bring me damage and craziness, but I do not care. He covers two Hydra heads in one, which is insane, and it helps a ton. Because if you think about it, okay, this one's on a 4-turn cooldown. He places the provoke for 2 turns, so you can put him in a reflex. I chose to put him in a reflex and brings this down. Then he comes back faster through it. Or if you don't put it, it's still fine. As long as you have increased speed on yourself and decreased speed on the enemy, this one being on a 4-turn cooldown, plus this one granting an extra turn, you come back to it pretty fast. So if you move fast enough, you will always have the provoke without having to worry of all the other crazy sets. So let me show you, for example, what team I built around him and how I actually placed it. I didn't keep the key because obviously I want to have the keys to try and do something else. But I brought in Nekmothar. I needed somebody to AoE increase speed, AoE decrease speed. Yeah, I know he's a legendary. I could have maybe tried to bring somebody else in there. Maybe I could have tried to, but at the end of the day, I tried it on Brutal, So I'm quite sure this could have worked maybe on Nightmare as well. I just think that I might have had to push the stats higher. But on Brutal, I mean, honestly, on Brutal, I think it's kind of fair to have like 1 legendary at least. I dropped my Duchess to bring in Ursala, and then the usual culprits, the Geomancer, the Royal Guard, and the Ugo. Like Geomancer, Royal Guard, okay, you can replace them with maybe Husks, with other stuff, because as long as you have the block buffs, to keep the poison cloud controlled, you're not as desperate for Geo. Geo brings you that crazy damage and HP burn that goes through the poison cloud. But if you have, instead of Geo, if you have 2 enemy max HP champs, so 2 husks, 2 royal guards, or 1 of each, you should still be fine. Maybe having, honestly, maybe over here husk might even be better in case you want a backup for the sake of Jizoh, so you know. But yeah, this is what I was going with. So let me just move myself a little bit in this corner and make myself a little bit smaller, hopefully, and show you basically how I went. So my rotation simply starts with the increased speed, then the decreased speed. He got an extra turn because I put him in Relentless. If you have an Ekmothar and you don't have him in Relentless, you're missing out, trust me. Then with Ursal, I'm just putting the survivability, block buffs, and decreased defense. It didn't land here, so normally I would put the HP burn on the Head of Mischief first because I want to kill it. The Head of Mischief is the most annoying one that if he steals your buffs, he also steals your turn meter, so that makes it really annoying. So even though he's gonna be the mischief target, we might resist it, but if he 3% us, or like 4 or 5%, whatever it is, that if he steals our buff, he also steals the turn meter, and that can be wrong. But because we got the block buffs resisted over here, I'm just gonna put the HP burn over here with Jizoh, and now look at this. We have straight up the provoke. And guess what? Continuous heal on himself, plus I put the blood shield on him, and look at this, he has 5 buffs. We do the slam with Royal Guard, and look at this. The mischief attack Jizoh was just fine. The provoke was still there, the HP burn still there. Now I can do the other buffs. A1's here. Like, you can do whatever else. This one's gonna be controlled. The reason why I put the HP burn here is obviously because he was the only one that did not have the block buffs land from Ugo. I wanted to have the option of being able to attack it, because look at this. Now, if I'm gonna come back to the provoke, but he drops the provoke over here, there's still gonna be the, what's it called? The poison cloud still gonna be on him, and I will not be able to provoke him. So if you don't land the block buffs here, just put the HP burn. If you do, just place it on mischief and kill this guy first. Now what I'm gonna do, for example, guess what? So this is on a 3-turn cooldown. I didn't have a refresh proc yet. Do the A2 on him, give him again the buffs, and got an extra turn, and do the A1. And guess what? By the time he comes back, he's gonna have his provoke back again. So it kind of counts as if he didn't even have the reflex on him, because it did not proc yet. So unless it procs the next turn, it's still not gonna. It still counts as if he doesn't even have it. So now the buffs were stolen from Royal Guard because he was a little bit too slow. But because I have the block buffs as a backup from Ugo on mischief, we were good. We were fine. So nothing happened. So see, the reflex didn't proc, but guess what? Because we're gonna have the increased speed again from him, I can just go in A1, and I should come back to my provoke again with him. Like I said, just as if I didn't even have the reflex set on, in case you guys don't have it. We come back to it. Maybe I should have kept that because he's gonna die, but I guess it is what it is. This is just showing you to come back to... Let's heal. I'm just trying to come back to him, and boom, we have the provoke again. We do the provoke again, and that's the Head of DK always controlled for us. Another interesting thing that I tested and I was looking that makes him really amazing is after the mischief is dead and he's gone, what you could do, and what I was doing, I only realized on the run that I'm going to show you afterwards, only towards the end. You can do the provoke, you can place that provoke from Jizoh's A2, you can place it on Geomancer, and that, guess what that does? Geomancer doing the AoE once, he's gonna have high chances of keep proccing that decreased accuracy. And if he does that, guess what? You have a high chance of resisting every other debuff. The poisons, the provokes, the heal reduction. So if you give your champions around 200 to resist, you're gonna be just fine, everything's gonna go smoothly. So I'm gonna back out of this one, and I'm going to show you the run. It's like a 20 minutes run, but I'm going to do it at 2 times or 3 times speed just to show you how it actually goes, and the fact that it's actually pretty amazing. And after that, we're going to come back and I'm going to show you the builds. So see you in a bit, guys. And we're back. So look at this. Honestly, this is pretty amazing. Like 24 minutes did 37.81 million. that's, you know, that's more than enough. The one key on Brutal is 29.4. We had not the best RNG, we had some bad RNG as well happening, and still we managed to do it. Jizoh did his job for the whole of the run, as you noticed. Royal Guard with the highest damage, Ugo with some damage in there, Geomancer with decent damage, Ursala the same, Nekmothar the same. The thing is, I don't have full masteries on everyone, so imagine if I had full masteries, things could be even easier. So let's close this and let me actually show you the builds that I have on the people in this team. Let me move myself again to the left. So let's start with the only legendary in the team. Hopefully he's out. Nope, let me bring him out of the vault. Come on, where you are. Okay, there you go. So like I said, Nekmothar is in a relentless set. He has 400 accuracy. I built him with around 400 accuracy, almost 400 accuracy, for the sake of Nightmare. In case I want to try him and put him back in Nightmare, he's 400 accuracy, but for Brutal, you can drop it down to 350. 250 resist, a little bit of resist, decent speed, and then survivability. I could even try and give him 100% crit rate, and maybe then survivability for extra damage, but I guess most of his damage I try to make from War Masters. These are the masteries. Because of the buffs and debuffs that he places, I like to give him sort of like almost the same masteries that I give to Lydia. You know, the Arcane Celerity, the Rapid Response, Lasting Gifts, and Master Hexer to extend all those buffs and those debuffs. Then let's start going through the epics. Okay, Ursala don't even have masteries on her. Like I said, I put her in Relentless plus an Immortal. I gave her, honestly, high resist because I wanted her as because she's the only reviver in the team. I want to make sure that she's not the one that gets the debuffs. She doesn't get the poisons in case she gets targeted by the mischief. I want to make sure she doesn't get debuffed, so I kind of pushed her resist up. I didn't really want the accuracy on her because I don't care about her decreased attack, because that one is landed already by Nekmothar on his A1. So I didn't put accuracy, but if you want to do that, you can give her some accuracy if you need a decreased attack from her A2 as well. But yeah, mostly I was really caring about the strength and the increased defense. If you don't have Relentless, try Reflex. If you don't have that, just build her in Regen or something and just make her survivable. She should be the one that never dies for you. If she dies, your run's kinda over, because you don't have any backup reviver. I mean, you have enough healing from Ugo and Nekmothar, but you need her to, in case people die, you need to revive. So make sure you make her tanky enough to survive your purpose in there, and that's mostly to be the reviver. Then this is my Geomancer. I mean, the way that I did it now is like, I don't want to constantly move my gear from my Geomancer, so I have my best gear on my Nightmare, and then these, the ones that I'm going to show, is like my second or third best gears for Reflex and stuff like that for the sake of Hydra, and hopefully that should be more relatable. So Geomancer, I have at 222 speed, 100% crit rate, high accuracy, decent resist, and you know, just make him survivable. You mostly care about his A3. You care about his A3 and his passive. You want him to land those debuffs. Why did I just go out? Let's go back into Geo. And these are the masteries for Geomancer again. With War Master, because he has AoE A1, so he's gonna do lots of damage, plus the support chi. You want the Master Hexer for a chance to extend the HP bar and the weaken, and you want the Sniper for a higher chance to land the decreased accuracy on the A1, which can be extremely good and really helpful. Like you saw in the previous in the run that I just showed you, how many times we resisted the poisons and the provokes. So you know, keep that in mind when you're doing the masteries to try and get Sniper as well. Then next one's Ugo. This one doesn't have full masteries yet. Obviously everybody that I showed you is fully booked on the skills that we care about. These are the Ugo stats, same principle, high accuracy, a little bit of resist, decent speed, and then survivability stats. When you build your Ugo, keep in mind you want as much HP as possible on her, because her heal is based off of her max HP. So don't try to give her like 3,000-4,000 defense, just try to go more HP. I built her like that earlier, before I recorded the run. I built her and she had like 3,800 defense and 50,000 HP, and her heals were barely doing anything. As soon as I changed it, everything worked smoother, so keep that in mind. She's in a reflex set as well, because like, you know, if you don't have all the reflex, go Relentless, go refresh accessories, all, you know, all the usual stuff that's good for Hydra. Then like I said, my second Royal Guard, again in a reflex with one refresh piece here. He's running 200 speed, 100% crit rate, 250 crit damage, and some accuracy. Even though I don't really care about his accuracy, I guess I just gave him a little bit of accuracy just in case, because I have the other royal guard has a resistance banner, so he has more resistance. Maybe I could have tried and put a resistance banner on this one as well. Whenever I build my enemy max HP champions like royal guards and husks, I always do the same thing. Go to the optimizer, I put 100% crit rate, 250 crit damage, HP percent chest, and then give it accuracy if you want, or resistance if you want as stats, and then take the scroll and move it to the max at speed and see what you get, and that's what you're gonna use. Then who else did we miss? Royal Guard, Ugo, oh yeah, and Jizoh, the man of the hour, the man that we're doing the video for. So Jizoh, like I said, I built in a reflex and some random pieces, plus I gave him a blood shield accessory. It's not mandatory to give him a blood shield accessory, but it helps because every time he attacks, he gets that shield on himself, so that gives him to have that extra buff. If, for example, you're playing with him in a team with Duchess, then you definitely are gonna try to have this one as well, because Duchess placing that shield randomly on the champion with the lowest HP might throw off the mischief targeting for him. Or if you have somebody else that's the mischief target, then yeah, you don't really care to build him like this. But let me show you. So like I said, because I built him as a mischief target, I gave him, for the sake of brutal, 550 plus resistance. That's what you care, and around 300 accuracy. 300 to 350 is the right spot. If you can get closer to 350, that's better. But for the sake of Jizoh, you only care to have accuracy on him so that he can land the provoke on DK. So go to Hell Hades stages tool, check what accuracy you need for debuffing the head of DK, and that's about it. You don't care about the accuracy for everybody else. Keep in mind though, the head of suffering, if he's there, you need to raise it by 50. You need to raise your stats by 50. But yeah, I gave him accuracy, 100% crit rate, speed, and survivability stats. Honestly, you don't even need crit rate on him. I just put some crit rate. I don't even know why, but just gave him some crit rate, and you know, it is what it is. And then the masteries used on him is I went down the support and the defense tree. I took unshakable because I didn't know how I was gonna be able to give him that high resist. Honestly, because he doesn't do that many hits, I'm not sure if it's really worth it to go down the War Master side. But I don't know, if you feel like you're gonna use him not as the mischief target, then yeah, maybe take him down the office tree and do damage. But because I knew I was gonna make him the target, I chose to take the resist from here, and he still did 1,000,000 damage, so you know, he was still pretty good. But yeah, I guess this is gonna be it for the video today, guys. I know it's a long one as usual. You know, Hydra's quite complex. It's when I need to show something like this, I really need the time, because I need to explain all the synergies, show the runs so you can see how it went. If you want to see the runs, and if you're like really interested, because I put them at 300% speed, you can go on YouTube and just put it on half speed if you want to try and understand and watch what I did exactly to try and learn. But yeah, this is gonna be it for the video, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Peace, love, take care everyone. Bye guys.